If your study table is full of books, cluttered, your mind is confused and cluttered, that means you're doing too much. You have to do less. Today, I'll discuss about the effective strategy to crack Prelim 2026. Effective, not complete, effective. So next 10 minutes, if you just listen to what I say, and this is not regular video about starts going. It is about mindset, training, understanding. Because in the previous video, I discussed about what toppers do, the 1% strategy. It is the extension of that video. And I want you to crack prelims. Stop working hard, start working right, start working sharper, start working smarter. This is what it is the requirement. I'm Pramod Singh. I'm the director of Edge IAS, and also I have been mentoring aspirants, and I'm launching a community for serious learners to crack UPSC in first attempt. Also use AI and right strategy, the proven strategy for toppers. Now let's understand. The first is your enemy is your information overload, information obesity, too much information. And what has actually happened that in this journey, you are paralyzed by a lot of volume. You are doing too many sources, because this is what I do in my inner circle session, which happens on every Wednesday. I connect with my students, I take feedback, and I'll show you also in my shorts and in the reels, you'll see that what students are saying. So problem is not scarcity of material, it is about lack of filter. You're studying too much, you are not studying with logic and strategy. Current affairs scam, PDF, videos, material, daily newspaper analysis, a short 20-hour video strategy to cover everything. Now these are, you are consuming endlessly without retention. You're consuming, but you're not retaining. So the idea is to shift from consumption to retention, because in prelims you can crack the exam only अगर आपका prelims का 100 का score लाना है, you have to identify what works, and you don't have to study everything. You have to study less and you have to be more effective. Retention is the key, because you have to solve. Active recall होना चाहिए. You have to solve questions. Prelims is about knowledge, application knowledge, confidence, and decision making under pressure. Now these are things that will help you to crack it, and that is what I want to share. So next 5-8 minutes, very important to understand. If you are following any of these multiple sources approaches, that will not work. Now let me tell you a very interesting concept called Pareto's optimality, Pareto's principle, which talks about 80-20 rule. Now 80-20 rule says that 20% of the input will give you 80% of the output. Now this will apply in all subjects. For example, in economy you have two topics, external sector and banking. They will fetch you maximum marks. In polity, you can say from Lakshmikant or from notes also, you can follow fundamental rights, DPSP, basics of constitution, and parliament. You'll get almost majority of the questions. Selectively, you don't have to study everything. You have to study very effectively. So 20% of syllabus will yield 80% of the marks. Not necessarily, but yes, close to that. Stop chasing obscure fact. Master the high weightage score. Always ask yourself, whenever you read a new material, new source, how many questions UPSC will ask from this source? How many questions have come from last few years? What are the trend of those questions? What is the nature of those questions? The first principle thinking, which I discussed in the previous video. Then the precision has to be there rather than volume. As a mentor, I will not teach you. I'm here to help you, guide you, make sure that you follow a very pinpoint strategy. Focus on subjects like polity, economy, modern history, environment, and geography. Now, these are the core subjects. And if you follow all this, this is what and I'm going to share the strategy for next 3 months also, the 90 days approach, which should work for you. So you have to make sure this Pareto's optimality principle is being followed, and that is how it has to be. Now, coming to the core, the 4 resources, or other 5 resources, I would say. Let's add geography also. So you have polity, economy, history, geography, and environment. Adding just one source per subject, no exceptions. One source means one macro book. Value additions here and there, topic wise, can be done, but majorly one source. Adding a second book does not add or double your knowledge. It just halves your retention. Aapka knowledge level kam ho jayega, your retention will come down. Because remember, you have to solve conceptual deep questions. Now for that, multiple repetition and multiple revision is the key. So these are 4 or 5 resources, the golden rule. Now let's talk about each of these sources. The first is the polity strategy. In polity, Lakshmikant is followed. Now here you can add the Supreme Court judgment. You can identify the topics, because in my inner circle session, I'm going to share everything, that subject-wise strategy, the topics which have to be covered, because I want you to come here and see the magic which happens. Constitutional framework. Now these are the areas where you have to focus. In last few months, Speaker was in news, Vice President was in news, okay, Election Commission was in news. So you know that these are topics which are more relevant, and UPSC might ask from here. Even UPSC was in news, okay. Then the economy strategy, focus on conceptual clarity. Basics, NCRT, class 11th, macroeconomics, class 12th, 11th, class 12 macroeconomics, class 11th, Indian economic development. 8-10 chapters will cover everything. Then you can have one handbook on Indian economy. There are very many in the market. You can follow any one, but make sure that when you follow, the language should be lucid and understandable. Okay. Then budget economics survey, very important. Already I've covered this. Concepts over data, concept, trend of the questions, how things are evolving. Now, when you look at the pattern of the UPSC in the last few years, you'll understand what I'm trying to say. Now, this year, the new base year series from for inflation 2012 to 2024 will happen. The base year will also change for GDP calculation. So multiple changes will happen. So UPSC might ask from those basic concepts. So you have to understand how are going to be things working for you. Okay. The same thing will apply for history also. In history, I would always advise the core sources, the NCRT, but spectrum is again followed. So I'll go with spectrum. The old NCRT, new NCRT, and selectively from NCRT spectrum. Now in medieval, you are focusing more on the administration terminology. For that, I've already shared a video for ancient. In my inner circle session, I have also shared the strategy for medieval history. You can come and see there. Because I don't want to feed you with a lot of information. I want to just tell you 1 or 2 points which will work for you. Then environment strategy, the core concept plus current legal framework. Legal framework. Now remember, the Nicobar is in news. Now for that, which law, which legislation, Environmental Protection Act, Forest Acts, all those things have to be understood. Okay, intersection of ecology and legislation, because these are the areas where UPSC might ask question, and you have to go deep in that. Remember, the question will come from the same area, but they will go more in deep, and they will test your judgment, analytical ability in pressure. Okay. Then similarly, for NCRT geography, I have just said 11th, 12th NCRTs and current based mapping. So mapping everything. Right now, Iran is in news. You have Russia-Ukraine war. There are so many topics which are in news. You can just interlink them in many areas. Mali was in news recently. So you have to link with that. Don't randomly study, because if you study like everyone, you'll get result like everyone. If you want to get selected, you have to understand that one person's strategy which toppers follow. Now, current affairs scam. Now, why I say scam? Because now with many teachers with good intent, they're sharing a lot of material. They're giving 3-4 booklets, material. They're having live classes. So you are following daily videos. Now ask yourself, if you are following any of these, kya follow kar rahe? Are you following daily videos? Are you following multiple papers? Are you following multiple magazines? Now there's too much of noise. So retention would be very less, because you're feeding, consuming, with zero retention. So input, what I would advise, stick to one newspaper, one primary source, one monthly magazine or review, only one. Be very selective. Link with the static topic. Make a list of topics in every subject which are there in news and link with static. Physically link news to the core static notes, because UPSC will check there. Avoid 3-hour daily news videos. Protect your time, because daily videos, daily strategy. Again, I'm not saying that they are not doing good work, but question is that they will work for you. Will you be able to absorb? Will you be able to repeat them, revise them 3-4 times before going to the exam? That is a question you should be asking, because this FOMO has to be avoided. Your preparation will happen in calmness, in quietness. Your cup has to be empty, not full. Right now your cup is full in your mind, and that is where you're overthinking, hallucinating, you're consuming. There is no active recall that is happening. Ask yourself. Okay. Then of course, the cognitive edge, active recall. Active recall means if you're studying 4 hours study, focus more on the retrieval part. So close the book, explain the concept to your friend, ask them. If you cannot explain, maybe you don't know it. Passive reading is comfortable but ineffective. You're just reading it. You're not solving question. If you're solving, maybe you're not effectively doing that. So if you're doing this is going to change everything, because selection nahi hoga, only pressure will increase and you are going to get overwhelmed, and preparation jo hai quietness mein hoga, silence mein hoga. The inner calmness is very important for that to happen. Now I want to discuss about the concept of active learning and passive learning. The learning pyramid. So if you just look at this learning pyramid, so let's see if you're doing all this. Are you following lecture? Retention is just 5%. Reading, 10%. Audio visual, you have seen a video, 20%. Demonstration, 30%. So this is what students are doing. Ask yourself, are you doing this? because you have to move from passive learning to active learning. आपको passive से active learning पे जाना होगा, and for that you have to have you can make a small group of 2 students whom you can discuss among yourself. So that will also your retention will improve, the discussion group. I tell my students, have accountability partner among yourself, 1 or 2 people whom you trust, and they should match your vibe also. They should not put you down. They should not judge you, because if they are doing that, it is going to be negative. So discussion group, small 2-3 people can be there. They can discuss on a certain topic. I revise polity this topic, you revise polity Y topic. Let's discuss with each one of them. Let's teach each other. Because I remember when we were aspirant, I gave 2-3 mains and 2 interviews. We were doing the same thing. The second is the practice by doing. Now here you solve MCQs, you write answers, you practice, you do the brainstorming, you do analysis of the test, make an error log. My students are making error log of every test. So they know what is the actionable point in the next test. They know where is the gap area. And the last is teaching others. Now this is the most effective part, because you recall. Now this is the 3R strategy: read, revise, and recall. So what you're doing, you're just doing the first part or maybe second part. The revision also have to be done 2 times. The recall will come from these 3 things, and that is where solving MCQs is very important. You always feel that okay, let's syllabus एक बार ready हो जाएगा तब test देंगे. Now syllabus is never ready. Syllabus is never ready. You will always have that feeling in the mind, and because you're doing too many things. But when you decide, okay, let's have smaller tests, because even in the test, in the Prayas test that we have smaller sectional tests. You can revise one part of the syllabus, give test. Second part of the syllabus, give test. Polity, 3 tests. Geography, 4 tests. So you can divide that preparation thing as well. So this is the active recall pyramid which I have discussed. And then I talk about the other strategy called spaced repetitive cycle. So I always tell my students, okay, 10, 24, 7. So 10 minutes, 24 hours, 7 days, and you can add 30 also. 30 or means 1 month. So if you are doing passive revision, if you're revising 24 hours, then 7 days, then 30 days, you follow the cycle. Now this is difficult, because you need a lot of discipline, a lot of timing, space timing. You have to divide and schedule it. You have to make a strategy for that. I studied polity yesterday. Today I'll revise. After 1 week I will revise. After 30 days I'll revise. So this systematically, review 1, 24 hour, review 2, 7 days, review 3, 30 days. If you do this, your retention will go by 80%. आपका knowledge या understanding 80% से बढ़ जाएगा. You will able to retain and retrieve information under pressure also. I want you to, you can see retention will go up to almost 70-80% if you do that. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. But आप क्या कर रहे हो? Randomly one day you're studying subject X, you are studying 2-3 subject, and you're thinking that I'm revising also. But that is not how it works. Now 90 days learn roadmap. March. I will not go deep into this. For that you have to come to my inner circle session. But broadly, one more thing, what I'm sharing is logical, you can follow my inner circle, you can join the community link, come to my inner circle session and go into deep of that. Now March should be foundation and core deep dive, knowledge base, mastering key concept, initial retrieval practice. So basics, concepts, static areas, revise, make a current affair topic, interlink them. Then gives sectional test here. Okay. If you've already given sectional test, you can move to the advanced one. April, application and mock feedback. Now, based on the feedback, you create a practical exercise, create error log, speak to your mentor, understand where the gap area is there, come to my inner circle session and see how the improvement part is happening. After mid-May, maybe 10th May or 15th May, till the mid-May or 10th of May, you focus on FLTs, full length tests. In fact, I would say start after 15 March or first week of March also. But last one, from 15 March onwards or 10th March onwards, you should focus on your high intensity drills, full scale assessment, resilience training, because that is what is needed. Don't do full test right now, because it will be counterproductive. Or you have already done the preparation, you have given multiple attempts, you're thorough, it's a different thing. But the people who are beginner, who are starting at the first stage, or maybe who have not cleared prelims, they should avoid that approach. So phase 1, phase 2, March is foundation, concept building, theories, revising, static, sectional tests. April is about application, going to next level, FLTs, solving, focus on analysis, not just scores, establish feedback loops to correct conceptual gaps, identify which topic you are weak, which area you weak. Many a times you're not weak in subject, you're weak in topics. आपको topic पे focus करना होगा, and that is how things are going to be there. And then the third phase is aggressive testing, the mid-April, where mid-April onwards, you full simulation of exam condition, timing, environment, okay, mindset, managing anxiety, decision making. अच्छा, इस पे बहुत important. I focus this on that in my inner circle session, because your mindset, 80% is mindset, 20% strategy, hard work everybody is doing. You're doing for 8 hours, but mindset is very important. Are you positive? Are you thinking, what if the syllabus will not get over? Because in my inner circle session, I take feedback, and this is what I found. Consolidation of space cycle, peak performance conditioning. आपको performance peak होना चाहिए, and that conditioning has to be there. Okay, so you have to become uncomfortable, because you are right now preparing in a comfort zone. You have to push yourself, come out of that silos of challenge. Okay, if your study session feels easy, you are not learning. If there is a pressure, it's okay, but you have to learn to live in the pressure. Seek resistance. Okay, prioritize the subject you hate. Excellence over perfection. Eat the frog. I always tell, eat the frog. Do the subject where you feel you are less comfortable. Okay, that is how you have to do that. And if you start doing that, things are going to happen. And then you have a you will be in the top 1% people, the 1% toppers mindset. You will be able to emotionally regulate yourself, because that's the first step. The courage to do less but better. The noise, the endless material gathering has to be avoided. If you really want to clear the prelims, you have to do that. Come to my inner circle session, see the magic happens, push yourself and follow the strategy. This is definitely going to work, and you will reach at next level. Okay, so do like the video, subscribe to the channel, and see the journey in a very calm headed approach, and you are going to be there in the final list. See you there. So if you have understood everything which I said, you need to come to my Edge Learning Hub community, the learners community, the serious community. Now these people have a very effective AI is being used, technology is being used, productivity sessions, and proven strategy. I'm going to share students who have cleared prelims. Multiple of my students have shared cleared prelims and mains also, or the previous one also, All India Rank 5, All India Rank 4. Then you have inner circle session every Wednesday 8 p.m. Now this is where you come discuss, and we have challenging activity. There is a Edge Learning Hub community. You can start with a beginner course with step-by-step clarity you will get. See, clarity is superpower, very important. And then one-to-one offline support in Delhi. If you want to come, stop working hard, start working right. You can join the Edge Learning Hub community, and believe me, it will take things to next level. And I'll share the learnings of the students who are doing well, and that will make a difference. God bless you. Bye.